Today I want to direct your attention to Luke chapter 14 and verses 7 through 14, where Jesus is teaching about humility. And our verse for the day is verse 11, where he says, "For all who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." Humility is a challenging thing to talk about, right? It's kind of awkward to say, you know what I'm really great at? Humility. I was tops in my class in humility. Some of us, you may even have seen a bumper sticker, humble and proud of it. Right? Humility is hard to speak about because it's the one thing you can't say. You can say you're good at speaking Spanish, and that can be objectively proven. But if you say you're good at humility, you've almost ruined it just by saying it. But one of the things I have found to be true, and it's not just with Christianity, but I think you see it in some of the other great spiritual traditions of the world, is people who mature or progress, whether in Judaism, in Christianity, even in Buddhism, even in Islam. Most great spiritual traditions exalt the principle or the virtue of humility, and all of them have strongly negative things to say about pride, arrogance, condescension, and contempt. It's true across the board in all those traditions, and especially in the Bible, in both our Hebrew Bible, what we call the Old Testament, and in the New Testament. And it's kind of funny that in describing humility, Jesus, if you read these verses, he's kind of tongue-in-cheek. This is I think, one of the passages that really shows Jesus' sense of humor, where he says, when you're invited by someone to a wedding banquet, don't sit at the place of honor in case someone more distinguished than you has been invited by your host, and then your host who invited you both may come and say to you, give this person your place, and then in disgrace you would have to take the lowest place. But when you're invited, go down and sit in the lowest place. Now, go sit right next to the servant's entrance from the kitchen. Go sit there, and that way your friend may come and honor you in front of everybody by saying, come, sit at this higher place. You certainly deserve a better place. Jesus is using humor there to poke at our balloon of self-importance, if you will, to let some air out of that balloon, and to say, really, all who exalt themselves will be humbled. And all you have to think about is think about your own life, the temptation we all have to use language which justifies ourselves or our contribution, or to say that we deserve the credit for something that happened, even if we don't necessarily really do. All these things are temptations to puff ourselves up. And Paul tells us in Corinthians, right, that pride puffs up, but love builds up. And I would say humility actually makes us smaller. Christianity is the spiritual tradition in which we descend into greatness rather than ascend into a place of greater prominence or recognition. So, I pray today will be a day of humility, a day where you say, I will do the thing that no one else wants to do. And I will do this particular task, or I will take on this role, and I won't care who gets the credit, and I don't need affirmation or appreciation. I'm just doing this so that I can serve the Lord and bless others.